So, Vanilla WoW is back, and it's not only hardcore. Today we're talking about Vanilla WoW, the classic era servers, and how much they're actually popping off. The fact is, they are very popular, they've been popular for quite a while, and even recently they've seen a huge increase in their player base. So this video will be inspired by Willie's video recently where he talked about that exact topic, that classic WoW or Vanilla WoW is popping off, and it's not only hardcore. Based on that one, yesterday while I was streaming some hardcore shenanigans and gameplay, I thought to myself I would do some actual scans in the background to see exactly how many players are playing while I'm currently online. And after that stream, I also went and did some more scans on different servers. So in today's video, I want to present to you the player base scans for hardcore servers and regular PvP clusters on Classic Era for Europe specifically, and I'm doing this on both factions. For that reason, we have 4 different scans to take a look at today, one for each faction on both types of servers. So you have Classic Hardcore and you also have the PvP clusters. Let's start with Classic WoW Hardcore. Now this one is quite interesting. So first of all we have the Horde side on Hydraction Waterlords, and you can see exactly when the scan was finished in the top right corner at the actual clock. So you can see this scan was finished at 10:37 PM. So basically 1.5 hours before midnight, and all of my scans were done in a 2-hour interval. So right now 10:37 PM, and at the moment of doing this scan you can see consecutive census 0, so it's 1 scan. There's 5,957 people online. That is a bunch of people for the Horde side. I have not played Horde on Classic Hardcore myself before. This was my first time trying an actual Horde character, so I went back to the roots of my actual first race back in Vanilla WoW, which was a Tauren. So I've had some fun so far. We're level 10 at the moment. You can find me live on Twitch and Kick, by the way, the links are down below if you want to follow my actual hardcore journey, both right now on PTR and when the hardcore servers do come out. But yeah, you can see right here, 5,957 people, almost 6,000 people online on one faction at the same time. That's incredible. I don't really know where that number is coming from, because if I go over to the Alliance side, which I went into this scan, pretty similar, pretty like in the same time span-ish, you can see right here, the scan finished at 12:33, so almost 2 hours later, just about like 1 hour and 56 minutes, so 2 hours later. And on the Alliance side, there's 1,653 people online. So based on these numbers, there's like 2.5 times to 3 times as many people on the Horde side as there is on the Alliance side, or basically almost 4 times as many as well. I suck at math, but based on these numbers, it looks like it's 75% Horde to 25% Alliance. When I played a lot of Classic WoW Hardcore, it used to be a way different metric. Alliance was more popular than Horde, and I don't really know what's happened here. Maybe I picked some weird times, maybe in that 2-hour time span a bunch of people logged off, but for my census scans at 10:37 PM, there were 6,000, almost 6,000 people on the Horde side, and 2 hours later there's 1.6k on the Alliance side. Based on me only having one account, it's impossible for me to do the scans at the exact same time, so I tried my best, but I feel like there must have been something going on the Horde side. I know that Yuzu just had a Horde character, so that might have played a factor, and several streamers have been leveling on the Horde side recently for their first time playing a Horde character, so maybe that have played a part in this as well, shifting a little bit from the Alliance side to the Horde side, but I don't really know. These are the numbers though. For the Classic WoW PvP clusters, I chose Firemaw in this case. Doesn't really matter which server you choose because it's all in one big cluster anyway. And even when I was out leveling, I noticed there's a bunch of people just leveling. Doing the Hogger quest, for example, I was able to find a full group doing Hogger, and we also saw a bunch of people leveling and killing those gnolls in that area at Forest Edge in Elwyn Forest. There were a bunch of people online, and it's basically similar to the hardcore servers, where you see a bunch of people online 24/7, and to go to the actual scans, you can see right here, I finished this scan at 11:34 PM, so right before midnight. On Firemaw, on the Alliance side, there's 2,740 people online. Now, this is a lot of people, but you can also see, even though, like, according to these scans, most of them are level 60, but you can see there's a pretty decent spread across every single level other than level 60 as well. Roughly 40% are level 60, and then 60% are currently leveling, so there's a huge community on Classic WoW on the era servers, on the PvP clusters, that are actually still leveling. So if you're brand new to the game, you just want to give vanilla WoW a try, now is actually the perfect time. Sure, there's a bunch of level 60s already, some people are leveling alts and they give themselves some gear, but still, it's a really cool experience so far. Going over to the Horde side, I've done a scan on the Horde side as well, showing a little bit less people for far more in this case, or I made a character on Gold Mag because I can't have a Horde and Alliance character on a PvP server, but they're both connected on the same PvP cluster, so it's basically on the same server. Now this time around, play the Horde character, you can see there's 2019 people online at 3 minutes past midnight. Now here you can see 41.51% are level 60, and then roughly 60% or 59% I guess are still in the leveling process. So once again, a bunch of people are leveling up, and there's one thing that I kind of want to take a look at here. Even though a bunch of people are leveling up, you might not notice that as much in the open world. Up until level 20 you will notice a bunch of people, but after level 20 you still have the same meta on these servers as you had back in Classic WoW, where a bunch of people are selling boosts. If you like that or hate that, it is what it is, right? Some people hate boosting, some people like it. At the end of the day, it is what it is, but it's there on Classic Era. Blizzard hasn't really fixed any of that, and I don't really think they will. Classic Era is basically just meant to be exactly that. It's a Classic Era, the way Classic WoW was at the final patch of Classic WoW, and it's just a Classic WoW era based on the finalized version of Classic WoW. So the boosts are currently there, people are doing Sul'Gurub, Sul'Farrak, Deadmine, Stockades, all of those things, right? So boosting is still a thing, definitely, but up until level 20 you see a lot of people in the open world, and playing a human, I can tell you, Elven Forest and even Westfall was fully packed. There was a bunch of people questing in the open world that felt exactly like the hardcore servers, which I personally feel is incredible, because the hardcore servers and having that experience that I've had the last couple of months on the hardcore servers has actually been incredible. And there's a couple of reasons why I think this has shifted a little bit recently, because hardcore PTR was announced 5.5, well actually today, it's 6 weeks ago, and they said PTR will be coming out very soon. Based on that, a lot of people quit their current hardcore characters and wanted to take a break from hardcore until the hardcore servers actually do come out. And a lot of people, even though they want to take a break from hardcore, they can't really take that break from vanilla WoW. So a bunch of people have now migrated from the hardcore servers, basically Hydraction Waterlords and Bloodtail Buccaneers. They have now migrated to the big PvP clusters to play some regular vanilla WoW until the hardcore servers do come out. Sadly, we don't even have PTR yet, but I'm really thinking hardcore PTR should be coming out next week. I know I've said that for a while right now, but apparently we have some news coming out on Tuesday. I don't really think anyone knows what the news is, but we have some news coming out at roughly 9 AM PDT or something on Tuesday, which could be interesting to see what exactly that is. Could be the PTR though, so PTR could be happening very soon, about time to be honest, but either way, Classic WoW is popping off regardless of if you're playing hardcore. So if you don't want to play hardcore, there's still an alternative out there for you, and I also want to stress, I want to say this, all of my scans were done at between 10:30 PM and half an hour past midnight on a regular Friday evening. I literally did all of these scans yesterday before going to bed, and there's a reason for that. Not many people choose to do their raids on a Friday, and I want to do these scans not to take a look at how many people are raiding, but I want to look at how many people are actually playing the game outside of just raiding. Because I can log on exactly when raids are happening, and you can see way bigger numbers for both of these clusters. A bunch of people are currently raid logging, just logging on for their weekly or daily raiding activities, and then logging off again. So I kinda wanna do all of my scans outside of those raid times, which means that it will show a little bit lower numbers than you might be expecting if you want to raid, but I kinda just wanna show the servers as they are, outside of raid times, so keep that in mind when you're looking at these scans, but that is pretty much where we are. Hardcore Classic WoW is popping off, regular vanilla WoW is popping off, everything is popping off. I kind of feel like Blizzard missed a little bit the boat on Season of Mastery 2, or Season 2, because a bunch of people apparently do want to play vanilla WoW without the hardcore element, so it feels kind of bad that we're only getting hardcore servers for Classic WoW or Classic Era, and not like any fresh servers. I feel like there's a bunch of people and a whole community out there looking for fresh vanilla WoW without hardcore or without that one life element. So I feel like Blizzard really missed out here, based on them launching Season of Mastery when there was no hype for it, and now there's a massive hype for it, and they're making us wait until the end of the year. I feel like that's a mistake, but let me know your thoughts on everything in the comments down below. As always, I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you did enjoy, leave a like, leave a sub, and as always, I'll see you again very soon.